What's up guys, King Crisis here, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. If you guys enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. Now before we start this video, gravity control. Obviously that's exactly what it sounds like. Izuku has the ability to manipulate the gravitational force. This is a tremendously overpowered quirk and I don't need to explain why. But with this overly stupid power, he has the unique ability to completely alter the forces of gravity. Meaning that number one, it's not just increasing and decreasing gravity. No. This motherfucker can straight up change the flow of gravity. Changing the direction gravity pulls you from, changing what gravity does. It doesn't matter, he can change it. So how some gravity can make you like, all gravity can make you like be stuck or fall down. Now he can make it to the point it causes you to float upward towards a higher source. He can make it pull you in a separate direction than what it's supposed to. So instead of you being pulled upwards, instead of you being pulled down, he can make it pull you, to the left. And you will infinitely be moving towards the left until you basically splatter. And even then, your blood and body will still be moving. That's how overpowered it is. Like, there's no real limit. With his quirk alone, he can fully disrupt the gravitational force of Earth. And that's without one for all. So with this, let's start our story. Izuku Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya was the firstborn of three siblings. Izuku, Izume, and Zuko. His first two siblings, Zuko and Izume, from birth showed signs of having powerful quirks. His mother, Inko, had the ability to create, to manipulate massive constructs, being able to cause anything she wants to float. Using this ability, she's able to manipulate anything that she makes float. The moment this happens, the moment she causes something to float, she's able to completely control its direction, the shape of the object. And it's honestly just a really broken quirk. It's like combining telekinesis with Ochako's quirk, but she has to touch the object. His father, Hasashi. His father, Hasashi, has the ability to increase force and weight. With this ability, Hasashi is able to entirely, Hasashi has a powerful fire-based quirk combined with that. With this ability, Hasashi is able to has fire that's able to increase and output an excessive amount of force, constantly amping however much force is being put out. Meaning that with Hasashi's quirk, he can basically punch you, and his punch will be if his punch is engulfed in fire, however much force he wants to be added onto it, just from the fire alone, is added on. So he has super strength without having super strength. Only issue with it is he don't have the durability negation. So when his daughter Izume was born, Izume from birth showed signs of having a powerful quirk. When she was born, her body implemented a massive amount of heat. When the doctors came towards this heat, they felt like they were getting crushed. Just crushed. I'm gonna ignore that shit. But, literally, he's getting crushed just from being in the mere presence of Izume. As the baby grew older, her quirk only got stronger, which became more and more of a problem. The doctors were terrified, straight up terrified, fucking horrified of Izume. Considering the fact that every single time Izume did anything or even cried or whined for her days in hospital, they will basically be put underneath an excessive amount of heat, and said heat will only increase gravity around them. While Zuko quirk was the literal exact opposite. The boy from birth gave off a cold aura. Said cold aura causes pretty much everything around the boy to be manipulated in ways that Zuko wants. Meaning that if Zuko wants an object to basically morph it, the object to be changed into whatever the fuck is gonna change. Not only given the fact that Izuku straight up also has the ability to completely control the temperature of anything that he wants. Honest with y'all, they're both gonna be really overpowered with their quirks, and you guys won't really the basic explanation is kind of confusing, but pretty much his sister has the ability to applying her heat in however much fire she wants, basically increases gravity on things or makes things heavier. While Zuko, on the other hand, has Inko's, a variation of Inko quirk, which allows him the ability that anything that his cold aura touches, he's able to manipulate, which is stupidly busted because this includes living things, meaning that it's straight up mind control, number one, and number two, anything that his aura touches. So the fuck? Meaning that the further his aura expands and the older he gets, the stronger his aura becomes, the more deadly like his quirk becomes. He's probably gonna be stronger than Izume. Now, that's his quirk. Now, with this, Izuku showed no signs of having a quirk. And when their quirks were explained to them when they were at the age of 4, it was determined that Izuku was just going to be quirkless. This caused Inko and Asashi to almost immediately have a strong disdain for Izuku. And they made it very obvious. Izume and Zuko, as well, did not like Izuku. So together, Izume, Zuko, and Bakugo, and Inko and Asashi all horribly bullied Deku. Deku was no longer allowed to eat with the family. As a matter of fact, Izuku and Izume would have lobster, mashed potatoes, steak, broccoli with a side of unique red orange juice, while all he gets, and I mean all he gets, is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and that's on a good day. Most of the time, he wouldn't even get that. So to say the least, I'm sorry if y'all hear any background noise or moving around. I'm kind of going to go get a bottle of water while still recording, holding the computer. Anyways, at most, that's all he's going to get. And to be fair, Izuku being a little kid, he doesn't actually know this. He would prefer having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich over whatever a lobster is. Yeah, he realizes very quickly that that's kind of fucked up. As Izuku gets older, the abuse only gets worse. Inko and Asashi take everything away from him. Games, TVs, phones, tablets, All Might posters. Everything that Izuku loves about himself, they take away. Hasashi burns or Inko straight up literally floats it and uses her quirk to make it literally shred itself. This causes Izuku to become broken, horribly shattered. Everything that he loves just taken away from him in a heartbeat. Taken away or destroyed right before his innocent child eyes. It's just, honestly, it goes way too far. It breaks the young child's heart. And no matter what you do, Izuku only gets worse. Worser and worser and worser. The boy just straight up falls. Just loses all mentality. Izuku becomes depressed, saddened, and where some days his brother Zuko will come in a room and pretend that he's gonna comfort Izuku, just for him to use his aura, freeze Izuku horribly while breaking Izuku's bones in the cold and then repairing them and putting them back together. His power is so close to reality warping, it makes no sense. But the difference is that he can only control certain things. So let's say it's something like he can't control something stupid. He can't straight up change it from one substance to another. He can only control this. It only could be in the substance form that it is. Meaning that he cannot amp someone's power. He can only leave them at the power that they have. So let's say he were to put All Might underneath his control. He's going to be equivalent to, injured All Might, because that's the form that he controlled All Might in. But the thing is, though, he's able to fully control that person's body. Meaning that if he wants, he can make All Might body forcibly heal itself. Which is kind of broken, but he doesn't know about all that good shit yet. Anyways, day in and day out, they will break Izuku, shatter, put him down. Izume will constantly come inside and just burn him in 2 times Earth gravity. What they don't know is, the more and more Izuku got older, the stronger he got. The more resistant he got. So, they begin to amp it up. And around the time period when Izuku was at the age of 10, matter of fact, fuck that, around the age of 12, is when he first discovered his quirk. It was 3 days after Izume and, his brother Zuko got done beating him, and Asashi and Inko got done beating him as well. Izuku cried and shaked in a corner, shaking and shaking and shaking, with tears flowing down his eyes. Izuku was chained to the wall, and across from him, all the way across the wall, was his food. Izuku had to figure out a way to get the food. That was his mission for the day. And if he couldn't figure out how to get the food, the next day he's going to be given even less. And the next day he won't even get water next to him. The next day, the water will be just as far away from him as the food is, and at most, he won't have a blanket. He won't even have a towel to sleep on. Mind you, he sleeps in an empty room with like only like a few things like food. They at least give him a room. They at least give him TV, but no cable, no internet, no nothing. Like they give him basically no way of actually doing anything. It literally has 3 basic channels on it, and that's literally all the TV that Izuku knows. The news, which barely tells him any fucking thing, crime shows, and he has to turn the TV off at 5 o'clock. Meaning that like throughout the day he gets like three hours worth of TV. No games, like, at all. So when Izuku tries, finally his gravitational quirk activates. Oh, sorry, y'all. Oh, shit. Hold on. I need a water break. Oh, I don't know what the hell that was. But his gravitational quirk activated. With Izuku having a strong need to get the food, a strong need for it, suddenly a pink aura come off of his body, glowing a massively bright aura. Suddenly, the food and water was in his hand, floating towards his hands immediately. Izuku ate the food, and well, a couple hours later, Inko and Asashi came inside and saw the food was gone. "Izume! Sogo!" They both would immediately yell. "Did you feed this brat?" They both look confused. No. Why would I waste my time feeding him? Then how did he get the damn food? I don't know. Izuku's a nerd. He can figure something out, replied Zuko. Inko instantly backhands Zuko. "Don't speak to us that way, you idiot." Grabbing Zuko by the throat, she picks him up. "Now, I need a good explanation as to why I shouldn't kill you." He's like, "You're not gonna kill me?" He's like, good point. She drops him. "You are one of my only good children." Looking onward at Izuku, "How did you get the food?" Izuku says, "Struggled." "Leave me alone." Inko would laugh, but suddenly she would walk towards Izuku. "You know, when I touch something enough times, I no longer have to actually physically make contact with it in order to control what happens to it, right?" Izuku looks up and spits on her, and Inko would laugh. "My boy." Lifting up her hand, suddenly both of Izuku's arms would break. Izuku would instantly screech out in pain, where Inko would break both of his legs. He looks over at Asashi. "Have some fun with him." Hasashi would say, "Zuko, Izume, Inko, step out the room." Inko's like, "Again?" Asashi's like, "What can I say? I like him young and vulnerable." Inko's like, "I'm next." And she walks out the room. Now, in case y'all wondering, it does not go well for Izuku. Like, if y'all heard the tone I just spoke in, it does not go well for Izuku. All Izume and Zuko hear are screams. Screams of please, I'm sorry. But it's too late. Asashi finally gets finished. Around 5 hours later, Inko says, "About time, it's my turn." And next was Inko. Izuku wasn't, he didn't feel too much pain from that. But he also didn't like it because, you know, it's his fucking mom. And if you guys think he should like it, you're a fucking pervert. But on all seriousness, you guys think he should like it, you're a fucking weirdo. Anyways, on all seriousness though, after all of that, they still aren't finished. Zuko comes inside and instantly causes Izuku's entire freaking room to just be switched all around the place. And he tells Izuku, traps are set in a room now. Be careful. Well, there his siblings will walk away. Now y'all probably thinking, bro, Zuko's like really overpowered. He can straight up warp the area around him. He can only warp a small space, like a small area around him. So there's limitations to his power. Plus, his power is actually mostly ice-based, meaning that like he mostly has ice-based abilities. You have to be hit by his aura in order for it to have an effect on you. If you're at a far enough distance, he only shooting off blast of ice at you, you're good. But once you get within range of his aura, then it becomes an issue, because once that happens, if you're not able to release an aura stronger than his own, you're basically fucked. Like, you're immediately under his control. Now, 2 years will pass, and it's around the time period of the original start of the anime. Zuko and Izume and Baku are all sitting out in class. They all turn and side-eye Izuku. You signed up for UA? You know, all we have to do is just lie, and you'll be banned. The three of them would say, laughing. Plus, mom and dad are just gonna kick you out, take you out of UA anyways, even if you do get in, which you won't, considering the fact that you're fucking quirkless. Izuku stays silent. You pathetic fucking imbecile. Zuko stands up and walks towards him, immediately grabbing Izuku by the collar. Instantly, Izuku begins to slowly crush Izuku's veins within his arms. Izuku screeches in pain, where Zuko immediately tosses him to the ground. Come on, control it. Slowly squeezing his hand, Zuko would scream out in pain, blood literally bleeding from his eyes, like it hurts that bad. The teacher does nothing. The principal and the other teachers next door does nothing because they know it's Izuku who's screaming. They're used to his screams by now. With Izuku's screams being heard everywhere, many teachers, many students will sit there and laugh and watch as Izume joins in. Activating her fire, she instantly begins to crush Izuku's arms, causing Izuku to screech. Whether Izuku would say, I'm gonna make you strip. Literally using his power, he caused Izuku to strip. And that did not go how they were expecting. They were expecting like something different. Now that actually kind of helped Izuku. Like, no homo. I mean this, no homo. But bro had an anaconda. And the class is just, and bro, Izume's like, what the fuck? That doesn't make sense. And let's say, fucking hair girls like, Izuku, come by my house sometimes, blank address. And they're like, are you serious, bitch? He's quirkless. She turns, bitch, looks like a quirk to me. And the class is like, you nasty bitch, you a hoe. Like, you is a hoe. Like, you've been with half of the men in the class. She's like, that's not true. And Baku and Zuko both just turn and look at her like, bro, we ran a train on you. And she immediately shuts up and just turns around. Zuko's like, I'm so sick of this. He's thinking within his head, I should just crush both of their brains right now. I should just kill them both. Yeah, that'll be fair. That'll be right. I wouldn't be doing anything wrong if I would have just killed them now. But he shuts himself up, thinking to himself, no, not yet. I won't show them yet. With this, Izume would say, Zuko, do me a favor. Zuko looks up. Yeah? I want you to fuck up part of his head. You want me to make him retarded? Yeah. I want to see just how dumb he really can be. Zuko lifts up his hand. When he does that, Zuko for some reason feels a weird pressure. He can't move his hands correctly. What the fuck? He'll be thinking. No one is able to notice it, but Zuko's eyes are glowing like purple. Like it's a very, very faint glow. No one's able to notice it because Zuko's whole character is purple and purple pinkish. So you won't be able to really notice if Izuku's eyes were glowing this exact same color. So as Izuku literally fucking shattering the soul, holding down his brother with gravity, Izume will say, stop it. He's not worth it. We time skip. Izuku was seen limping, badly limping underneath the tunnel, where the sludge ends up pouncing and attacking him, similarly to how he would have in the original canon. But here's where it takes a turn. You see, the moment the sludge jumps up and attacks him, with the snap, the sludge is blown back by a wave. Like I said, he's able to basically make gravity repel off of him, which I can't really explain, but basically he's able to make gravity push things off of his body. It's basically almighty push, but specifically off of him. He can't create a barrier quite yet, but literally causing gravity to push off of his body, a massive wave goes off, and the sludge just explodes instantly. When this happens, Izuku turns around and basically activates the universal pull and pulls the sludge villain into the bottle. Once this happens, he ties it up. And, well, not tie it up. You know, he screws the bottle cap on. And the All Might arriving through the tunnel, he sees what the kid is doing. He asks the kid how he did it. Izuku says, oh, his quirk is gravity manipulation. He kind of had to keep it secret from his family concerning the fact that they're abusive fucking psychopaths. Izuku was saying almost like, oh, that took a turn. Fast. Okay. Cool. As All Might jumped off, Izuku would grab onto his leg and would ask him, can he be a hero even if everyone he knows and loves is against him, can he still do what's right even though he was quirkless most of his life until 2 years ago? All Might would nod. You could still be a hero, kid. With your power and all of that, you could be a hero. You're able to take down a villain that most kids your age, hell, some pros wouldn't be able to take down due to the difficulty of how his quirk works. You should be proud of yourself, kid. Taking down a villain like this it's no small feat. It's honestly great for someone your age to already be prepared to do things like this. Believe in yourself, kid. All Might stops talking if suddenly he poofs. Izuku immediately looks up. What the fuck? He instantly would say, as suddenly appears Small Might. Spitting, just standing there in absolute flabbergastery, Izuku instantly has a massive pink aura explodes off of his body. In case you guys are wondering, Izuku has been figuring out ways to train with his quirk. He does have a window. It's like a very, very small window, because they straight up built over his window and gave him a tiny fucking box window. So like he can look outside but barely be able to see outside. They are really making this man suffer. But using that, he will always look at certain things outside. And he kind of actually used his quirk on his parents' car a few times. Made the car get crushed. Accidentally. And Inko always blamed it on Hasashi because, well, it just makes sense for it to be Hasashi's fault. Because his quirk straight up lets him increase how much things weight with fire. So yeah. It just makes sense. He also would use it in order to study basically the effects that his gravity has on living things, causing birds, rats, mosquitoes, all types of things all the time to just slam onto the ground. Also, his quirk just innately has a ridiculous amount of power, just stupid amount of power. Off rip, it has a retarded amount of power. So no matter what y'all do, don't ever get it twisted. This quirk is busted. I know I have another game on here. I know I didn't uninstall Brawlhalla. What the fuck? I never uninstalled Brawlhalla. But nonetheless, that just off rip, that's kind of how it is. Always, at all times, his quirk is like this. Like, it's literally being suppressed at all times. But now we time skipping over towards the sludge villain attack. The sludge villain has Bakugo. Izuku jumps down and still does the exact same thing as in canon. Now the reasoning behind why, in particular, Izuku isn't straight up using like his quirk is because of the fact that he's hiding his quirk. He doesn't want to show his quirk. So when the sludge villain this time is able to get a hold of Izuku just for a moment, just for a small moment, something that won't be noticeable, he accesses his quirk and pushes back the sludge villain, making it seem like he kicked the sludge villain in the eyes, when in reality, his foot never actually reached the sludge villain, just a wave of wind that he controlled the gravity on the wind at a very high pace, causing the wind to rise up at high speeds, hit the eye of the sludge villain. Once this happens, he's pushed back. Immediately, he's thrown back, where their All Might swoops in and saves the day like in canon. Now, in this timeline, Izuku is still basically requesting that the All Might request to make Izuku his successor. Izuku immediately agrees to this, and when he does, All Might immediately tries to see how Izuku was built, and he's stunned, like flabbergasted. This nigga, like, though Izuku may have had basically nothing to eat, his entire life, his body has built up a tolerance, and is constantly being built up, like building more and more muscles from the amount of muscle that were being destroyed by his family. So Izuku is just physically insane. And he doesn't even try to be like, it just kind of from all the abuse and the torture that's been done to him, his body is basically being worked out by all the pain that he went through. How does that work? It doesn't. I just don't feel like explaining. So yeah. Now when Izuku ends up getting home the next day, Izuku ends up getting home after accepting All Might's quirk. All Might actually gives Izuku one for roll on the spot and tells him to meet him at Deku Beach. Now when Izuku got home and he told his parents that he was going to go train, Inko and Hasashi at this point, torturing Izuku has no longer been fun during these past 2 years, and they just don't care anymore. It looks at Izuku with just an annoyed look and says, if you're gonna go train for nothing, go waste your own time. We don't want to hear about it, because honestly with you, kid, I don't care about Hasashi. You want to go train? You want to go waste your time? Do it. Don't tell me about your filthy, pathetic life. You're training for nothing anyways. You're never going to become a hero. You're never going to become anything in life but a worthless bastard. Matter of fact, at best, you're going to become a homeless man. And I mean at best. Hasashi then looks at Inko. And it just gives us more time to fuck anyways. He's just like, straight up like that? Just straight up like that? Yes. Plot Hasashi, you're worthless. She isn't. Your sister better, your brother better, your mother better for sure. But honestly, coming from the fucking rapist. Say it again. But instantly, a powerful purple fire emanates off of Hasashi. I didn't stutter. Before Izuku can continue to speak, instantly a flaming hand grabs his throat, where suddenly Izuku falls to the ground and begins to screech. Say it again. Izuku dead silent. Izuku spits at Hasashi, and Hasashi looks on with a look of pure, like, hatred in the purest form. I will fucking kill you. With no hesitation, bro pounds at Izuku like an animal. Grabbing him by the throat, he begins to freaking slam Izuku all across the freaking house. Hasashi walks forward, instantly speed blitzes Izuku. Now, in case y'all wondering, Inko and Hasashi are not overpowered for nothing. They are pros. Like, they are pro heroes. And they're not like useless pro heroes like these randoms. They are the number 5 and number 6 pro hero. Like, they are actually really fucking busted. With them grabbing Izuku, they start throwing him all around the place. Just both of them jumping him in the most cruel and brutal ways. It's bad. It's really bad. After that, tell Izuku, go to sleep, you brat. And maybe then you'll be able to train for the next few weeks. What do you mean weeks? I have to train for 10 months. Pfft. You give up after those weeks, I guarantee it. Izuku goes out with the next couple of days and train with All Might. As Izuku trained with All Might began to notice the amount of scars on Izuku very quickly. A ridiculous amount of scars. It's insane. And the more All Might gets to know Izuku, the more he figured out that this boy has extreme anxiety. Like, bro is terrified. He has anxiety and he's very socially awkward. And like, there's more to it, but like, he's paranoid, he has anxiety, and he's socially awkward as hell. And All Might's like, bro, what the fuck? No child his age should be like this. And the more and more he trains with Izuku, the more he's able to figure out very quickly that the boy is straight up terrified anytime he goes in for a punch. Part of Izuku is horrified. He thinks back to whenever Hasashi and Inko used to basically hit him when he was younger. So at this point, All Might would just stop the training and begin to question Izuku on like why he's acting like this. What's going on with him? Izuku, who's too scared to tell All Might, just tells him that, yeah, he's always been like this. I'm gonna say, is it because you were quirkless growing up most of your life? Izuku would immediately think about this and say, yeah, that's kind of why. All Might would say, listen, kid, you can tell me anything, alright? I'm here. Izuku's like, honestly, I would really like to talk about this later. I might look at him and say, why? It's a certain moment I'm going to have to speak to you on this about, and I really want to spite them. All Might looks at him with a serious facial expression. You want to do it out of spite? Izuku would nod. Fine. I can work with that. Time skip. It's now around 7 months into the 10 months of training. About a few weeks ago, Izuku has explained everything to All Might. His abuse, the raping, and I mean constant raping, the torture, the sabotage, the spiritual, mental, physical, dramatical abuse that he's gotten from everyone in his home and his friends. And All Might low-key ain't fucking with that. And because he's All Might and he's the richest man in the world currently, bro, straight up with no hesitation, bro buys Izuku a house and gives him an unlimited credit card hooked to his hero and retirement fund. Meaning that when All Might do retire, Izuku's still gonna be set. And he does all this like it's nothing. Because, well, to him it is nothing. Izuku shows up and, well, that day, he tells Inko, Hasashi, Izume, and Zuko that he's moving out. Immediately, the four of them laugh and say, Izuku, it's your third time being at the dinner table, and you're saying that if you move out, which you're not going to do because you have nowhere to go, no one loves you, you have no money, you're broke, you can't get a job without a quirk. I have a quirk. They just laugh even harder. Listen, Izuku, I get it. You wanna escape, but you're never going to. This is your hell. You earned your place here. Izuku says, I've done nothing to deserve the life that you have given us. Oh shit. Okay, fuck. Now it's gonna say that the video fucking glitched. Ugh, I hate when it does that shit. Okay, it doesn't say that yet. Anyways, Izuku. Please, God, don't glitch. Izuku ends up. Oh shit, let me sit down. Okay. Izuku ends up immediately during this time period sneaking out that night. He snuck out and moved into, well, he had nothing to take with him. He barely had any clothes. He had like 3 to 4 outfits, and he slept in all of them. So, bro just left that same exact night. The next morning, they didn't even look for him. They weren't worried about him. They just assumed he was still in his room. 7 days went by, and a month went by, and they didn't notice he wasn't there. And when they finally did realize he wasn't there, they put out looking for him. Like they were looking for him, like they actually gave a fuck. When in all reality, Izuku knew and All Might knew that they did not give the tiniest bit of a fuck. They just wanted him for the money and to pretty much have something to take all their anger out on. So, when they were looking for Izuku, guess who was the person to explain where he was? Yes, you guys guessed it. All Might. Being the number one pro hero who All Might, Inko and Hasashi have met a couple of times, they went out to All Might and requested that he help them find their son. And All Might would tell them straight up he knows where their son is and that he took him in. Inko and Hasashi are shocked. You took in that worthless, quirkless bastard? They would immediately say, Izuku is not a worthless, quirkless boy. As a matter of fact, he's a highly powerful boy. How is he powerful without a quirk? Why would you take someone in like him? Replied Inko and Hasashi. If he has a good enough heart, I will take him in. And I did take him in. This causes a big argument between Inko, All Might, and Hasashi, but in the end, they lost the argument. And they stopped caring. They gave up. After all, Izuku was literally just profit to them. He was just money. They tells All Might, well, looks like the quirkless fund is yours now. They leave immediately and says, oh, All Might says, I know everything you guys did to that boy. If you ever cross him again, I'll ruin your lives. Inko and Hasashi will both immediately wave All Might off. They will go home. Izuku's gone. They would immediately say. Izuku and Izume both would say, I was looking forward to beating him up today too, replied Izuku. And Izume's like, I know. It sucks. The one day I actually want to hurt someone, my punching bag isn't here. Like, Why is that? Why is it the days that I actually need it, it's not here? He's not here, replied Inko. It's not here. A quirkless person do not deserve to be called a he nor a she. Whatever. We time skip to the UA entrance exams. When the UA entrance exams begin, Izuku fills out an application to, well, in his application, he specifically stated that he does not want to be in any class with Izume and Zuko Midoriya, or Katsuki Bakugo. When the papers were filled out, and it turns out that he's the adopted child of All Might, UA were kindly going to do exactly what he said. So, when the papers were finally sent, we time skip. Deku could be seen walking into UA, and the first fucking person he spots is none other than Zuko. And with no hesitation, bro, whole freaking day just got ruined. Like, that fucking fast. So with no hesitation, Zuko gets up and says, okay, fuck this shit, and leaves. He leaves because what is the point in staying when he doesn't have any good thing going on for him? Leaving, Izuku would immediately, well, no, not leaving the place. He actually leaves the area where Zuko's at. But believe who he runs into next. Izume. And bro, Izuku just heated. And Izume says, I want to talk to you, bro. Izuku's like, bro, did she just call me? What do you want to talk to me about, Izume? Please, Izuku, just hear me out. Izuku looks confused. Why is this bitch talking to me like she nice? The fuck? I don't fucking trust this shit. Yeah, of course, sis. What's up? I want to tell you that I'm sorry. And I just want to... She goes in for a hug. Izuku even said to back the fuck up. And she's like, please, just hear me out. Things have been really boring without you, alright? Because you don't have anyone to beat on? No. You're my brother, alright? Just... let me give you a hug. Izuku stands there like, I don't trust this bitch. He goes in and just he's like, let's see where this goes. And fakes like he was about to hug her. And the moment this happens, her head is instantly engulfed in fire. When she's about to slam into Izuku's back, Izuku catches her hand and says, I figured that was going to happen. Izuku's eyes would open up, both glowing a mixture of green and purple, which honestly would probably create brown, but I'm going to make it red because why not? Staring her down. Zuko snaps his fingers and suddenly she's thrown back. Waves of gravity threw her back. He says, don't come near me. Walking away, the next person he comes across is Bakugo. And Zuko says, I'm going to kill myself. Mo just activates One for All, 10%, and just blitzes away from all of them. Arriving at around the time, we just time skip. Robot exams. The robot exams begin. As soon as they begin, bro, instantly. The first robot he saw was a one-pointer. And no hesitation, Zuko rushes forward. 10% One for All. Smashes right through it like it was nothing. Goes onward and starts devastating robot after robot after robot. 10% One for All. And it isn't full counting. It's just 10% with punches. Bro cranks it up to 15% and uses air cannons. And he's just absolutely devastating every robot that he comes across. And now we time skip. Fuck is you talking about? Coming across the zero-pointer. Now, when zero-pointer shows up, Ochako is still stuck like she would have been in the original canon. As this happens, suddenly the zero-pointer is kicked and it instantly sent flying by Izuku, who casually jumped in the air with blinding speed. By combining One for All at 50%, which is his max he can use, and using his ability to lighten gravity, bro was able to basically move at around 100% One for All speed. With one blow, he rocketed right through the zero-pointer, instantly turning around and slamming his hands together, pointing at his hand. The zero-pointer was instantly crushed. Landing on the ground, Izuku walked towards the zero-pointer, constantly crushing the zero-pointer until it's condensed into a small ball. Grabbing the zero-pointer, he tosses it into the air, catches it, tosses it again and again and again and again. Whenever he breaks it breaks it apart, slams it back down into more, and keeps doing it until he's able to juggle with them. And they're just like, "Who is this kid?" Izuku then casually threw them aside. Well, then he walks towards Ochako, took the rope off her, and he picks her up. But the moment he did, Izuku feels a spark, like instantly. His body shook. Izuku like almost dropped her, but he caught her again. Like, what the fuck was that? Ochako looks at him and her eyes flared up. Instantly, she feels weird and she's able to stand again. Her legs feel perfectly healed. Ochako was standing up looking at her. "What did you do to me? What did I do? What did you do to me?" She's like, "What are you talking about? You shocked me. No, you shocked me. And healed me. But you shocked me." She would say, it's like, "No, you shocked me." And the two of them just stand there looking at each other confused. And crowd just cheers for Izuku, but Ochako is still looking at him in confusion. Now we time skip on over towards the first day of UA. Now Izuku scores first place overall, but due to his request not to get put in the same class as Bakugo, Izume, or Zuko, he's still put in 1B. But he still is the top student of UA and will still be seen as the top student of UA, even though he's in class 1B. And that's because it's going to be known by pretty much everyone in UA that he chose to be in class 1B. So now we time skip. Izuku's first day of UA, honestly, it's basically just an introduction day that I don't give a fuck about. So it's not getting covered. So now we time skipping over towards the hero versus villains. Now the team for the hero versus villains is Izuku and, I'm going to say, Tetsu versus, fuck, I just had a freaking name. You know what, I'm going to say Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy, and I know that's not her name. I could also say Bible Girl, but I don't feel like doing that shit. So, Poison Ivy and the fine ass Clash rep. No, that team's too overpowered. I bet Poison Ivy and Monoma. That's the teams. Now, before Monoma ended up going inside, he ended up copying pretty much. Who quirk should I make him copy? Oh, that would be cold. Should I do that? Should I make him get that quirk? Now that quirk would be too overpowered combined together. I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, he copied Vad King's quirk. Copying Vad King's quirk and copying the quirk of the nature bitch. I'm sorry that I called her a bitch. I just don't know her fucking name. Deal with it. If you got an issue, deal with it. I'm sorry. You're kind of stupid if you even got an issue. But walking inside, Monoma immediately begins to just talk so much trash. Like, bro does not shut his mouth. And Izuku already got anger issues. So the fact that this man won't shut up is not sitting too well with Izuku. So almost with no hesitation, as soon as the match starts, Monoma starts talking hectic. And well, he eats his words. Literally. Izuku instantly takes 3 steps, the ground around him completely shattering. Izuku appears right in front of Monoma. And to the shock of Monoma, Izuku goes in for a punch but stops before connecting. A massive destructive force was released from his punch right behind Monoma. Monoma looks terrified. You think you're better than us because you could have been in 1A? Because you chose to be part of 1B? You're a faker, he would say. You're not a real member of 1B. You're just some guy who wanted to be here so you can look down on everyone else who's weaker than you. Instantly, Monoma creates a blood spear that instantly is thrown at Izuku. Izuku would immediately snap his fingers, where instantly the blood spear has a purple aura wrap around it. The spear literally revolves around, like spins around Izuku, like you know how planets orbits. Yeah, it orbits around Izuku and goes flying right back at Monoma. Monoma looks completely shocked. Telekinesis, he would think, as instantly Monoma would dodge, just for Izuku to have Monoma's own gravitational pull be increased. Because everything has a gravitational pull, in case you didn't notice, it's just very, very weak for humans. Izuku increased that, causing many things in the building to fly towards him, but specifically his own blood spear. Monoma is instantly stabbed directly in the arm by the blood spear, as many lights and shit just hit him in the top of the head and shit. Small and weak things. Izuku instantly rockets forward with his hands engulfed in a black aura. Tectonic punch! Izuku would instantly yell. With one punch, Monoma is sent flying, with suddenly Shiozaki, that's her name, Shiozaki instantly shot out vines that instantly wrapped around Izuku. Izuku was immediately held down where Vines rushes forward and is instantly holding Izuku by his neck, his arms, his legs. Was there? She begins to straight up summon her hair whips that begin to basically whip Izuku all across his stomach. Racially motivated, in case you're wondering. Was there? She straight up stuck out her hand as instantly Izuku's eyes instantly shifted. Like he combined One For All with his gravity quirk that suddenly, like, Shiozaki vines are all getting pulled in different directions. That all are yanked off of him. Izuku lifts up one hand and says, "Almighty push!" As suddenly a massive blast was released from Izuku that instantly sent Shiozaki flying. Shiozaki was sent flying. Monoma was sent flying. And, well, Tetsu just stands there like, bro, I'm completely useless here. Monoma instantly, no. Can he copy mutation claims? On that he can. Monoma instantly runs towards Izuku. Goes in for a punch, but he ducks, slide past Izuku, and it instantly grabs my boy Tetsu by the back of his neck. The moment this happened, Monoma's eyes, shifted from, one being his normal blue and his other eye turned to a silver color. Instantly, his skin became metal, and one hand he had a blood spear, while the rest of his body was engulfed in metal. Monoma instantly slashed downward at Izuku because, as was shown, he can use two quirks at once, I think, but I think it just significantly weakens the other ones. And if it can't, I'm gonna make that a thing. But when they're slashing down Izuku with the blood spear, Izuku instantly catches the spear and holds it down the best of his ability. Izuku's pretty surprised at how strong this kid really is. He throws Monoma aside and instantly hits him across the chest with a palm strike. Monoma is sent flying yet again. He's like, damn, I have to get a hold of him. I have to actually touch him. Monoma rushes forward, like literally he's already in a hardened form, so like his durability is much higher. Running towards Izuku, Izuku knows Monoma's playing. He's not going to let Monoma lay a hand on him. Instantly activating One For All. In case you had noticed, he only used it like 2 times. He instantly flips over Monoma, but Monoma will smirk. Instantly, he's wrapped up by Shiozaki, where that Tetsu was instantly held down as well. Monoma instantly grabs Izuku by the throat, but Monoma freezes in confusion. What the? Monoma looks confused. Wait, is this? This is 2 quirks. Wait, which do I choose? Monoma's so confused because Izuku technically has 2 quirks, so he doesn't know what to do. So he chooses the first quirk that he sees, One For All. Now, when this ends up happening, Monoma doesn't know which quirk he actually got, but he got One For All. And because of the fact that Monoma can't use One For All, but quirks effects do last within like One For All, meaning that number 1, since I know this didn't happen in the original canon, but I'm gonna make this happen. And this one is because there's gonna have to be a big 3 of Class 1B. The copy version of One For All ended up enhancing his own quirk. His actual primary quirk. Sorry, y'all. I needed some water, like bad. Anyways, with this, Izuku instantly, bro, immediately bodied. Using the coldest combination of movements you can imagine, he took him out. And now we time skip. Deku could be seen, being held down. He's almost defeated. Until Tetsu's able to get up and land a devastating punch. But that's never Monoma says, honestly, we're able to hold you off a long time, but we know you're holding back, Izuku. And Shiozaki say, it's very obvious. We know what you're capable of. You were trained by All Might. You scored the first place within the UA entry exams. I scored 15th. And Monoma here scored like 20th, 23rd, 20th. 24th, like right behind some weird fucking purple haired kid, which doesn't make any sense. Like, he stole other people's points and he somehow got into 1A. You know what? I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Well, if you scored that high up, Izuku stands up. Now you guys know I've been holding back a lot. That's what voice says, or maybe it's just because you're fucking weak. Izuku looks around in confusion, along with everyone else. The fuck? And then they saw, like, on a whole nother building, like, just like a whole nother building with Class 1A, like Dario version, Zuko yelled that through a window. And Izuku turns around, like, Izuku instantly, his hair flows up. In one strong swoop, he knocked out both Monoma and Shiozaki, blitzing and touching the ball and being declared as the winner. Izuku instantly said, that's enough, I'm sick of this. Flying upward into the air, Black King says, Izuku, calm down. Immediately, Izuku blitzes forward and instantly flies right into the other building, directly where Class 1A is having their lesson. Almost like, Young Midoriya, what do you do? Izuku says, sorry, Sensei, I really gotta handle this. Grabbing his brother, he throws him dead out of the freaking window. Izuku instantly activates his aura and instantly causing himself to form an ice slide underneath him. Izuku would land on the ground, looks up at Izuku, cracking his neck. This again, brother. He shoots off a massive blast of ice towards Izuku. That blast of ice is instantly blocked by a wave of gravity that instantly crushed the ice as soon as it came close to him. Izuku instantly rockets forward towards him. 30% one for all. He slides underneath Izuku, spins and goes dead in for a kick at Izuku's head. The moment this happened, Izuku would freeze, where his leg is instantly thrown back, as with the most flexible movement ever, Izuku kicked himself in the face. In case I didn't know, they done things to Izuku that made his body so fucking flexible, it makes no sense. But when this happened, bro accidentally kicked himself in the face. Bro was flung and just sent flying. Bro, it instantly just lands against the wall like, damn, god damn, fuck, that shit hurts. That's what it feels like to be hit by 100% one for all. Oh man, you safe, bitch. Izuku instantly rockets forward, jumps up into the air, feeling gravity. He slammed his fist onto the ground. Maximum output! He would instantly say, almost like, Izuku, calm down, you're gonna kill him. Izuku's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm only gonna hurt him. What the fuck? Izuku feels a shocking feeling again when he turns around to see Ochako touching him. Izuku's like, get out of this fight. Which is a glare from Izuku's eye. Otako's eyes would also shift and glow the same color. No. You're interfering in our match. Where immediately Izuku's floated upward into the air and sent flying, like flung. Izuku would instantly land before thinking, I'm figuring it out. Our quirks, they're so similar. They're so similar to the point when they're connecting. He looks upward at Ochako and says, alright. You may be strong or cool or whatever the fuck. I don't really give a fuck. This is a personal battle between me and my brother, so I beg of you to stay out of it. Ochako looks onward. You're trying to kill him. I'm only trying to give him the same amount of pain that they've done to me. Walking forward, Izuku took 3 steps. Shockwaves. Bro instantly grabs him by the face and slowly lifts him up. I'm sorry. You are beautiful. Honestly, truly beautiful. But you're also kind of a bitch. With chopping her on the back of the neck, he knocked her unconscious, immediately. See how easy that was? See how weak you are? Izuku just straight up blitzes forward, goes in for a punch at Izuku. Izuku instantly causes the earth around him to instantly morph into spikes that all rush towards Izuku. Just because you're able to manipulate the things that is touched by your aura doesn't mean that you're an actual fucking threat to me. Instantly, Izuku hits a cold turn, swerving around. Activating one for all, he booms forward, just for him to be bandaged up suddenly. His quirks deactivated. Izuku falls onto the ground, where he's wrapped up by Aizawa. You woke me up, you brat. Izuku just held on the ground, sensing a dark aura. Bro is horrified. Aizawa looks upward at him. You ever do that again, I'll personally expel you. Izuku looks onward. You're not my teacher. Don't think I'm afraid of you. As I was like, what made you think I thought that? With the most calm facial expression ever, he drags him by his hair and strangles him. Taking Izuku to Nezu's office, he explained everything that happened. And Nezu's like, Aizawa, sit down with me. There's a long story on what happened to this kid. About those 3 that he was told specifically not to be in the class with. And he's like, now we time skip. Deku could be seen sitting down in class this time again. And it's around the time period of the USJ attack. Now, honestly, I want to do something unique. Normally in these type of what ifs, I would make class 1B go to the USJ with them, but it just never happened in the original, so I low-key don't feel like making it happen here. Hopefully y'all are okay with that, but here's why. It's not gonna matter. You see, with the quirk that his brother Izuku possesses, honestly, Zuko and Izume together were actually able to hold everyone off long enough for All Might to arrive. The USJ truly isn't worth covering because, well, Froppy and Mineta had Izume to protect them, and with her quirk, the ability to basically amp physical output from fire and amp how much things weigh from fire, to say the least, she's able to create the same amount of force and power. Well, not same, but a good close majority to the amount of power that Izuku created in the original timeline with the Whirlpool. With this, they're able to actually save Aizawa like in the original timeline, but she still ends up getting bodied because even though I'm pretty sure Izuku didn't, I'm gonna make her get bodied, but we just fucking time skip because I don't feel like talking about this shit. Okay. Please still work. Izuku. We just time skip on over towards pretty much the time period where Izuku ends up being the one to talk about. Oh no, actually, we could have over to something that happened after the USJ attack. Somebody did get injured in this timeline. Ochako got pretty badly injured, and Izuku heard about it, and he showed up to the hospital room where Ochako was. He sat down in her bed beside her, and when she woke up, he said, "Hey there, you okay?" Ochako looks up immediately. "Why are you here?" I wanted to check on you. I don't know what it is, but I feel a connection towards you, and our quirks literally are connected. He says, "I'm wanting to make sure you were okay." Ochako turns her head. "What does it matter to you if I'm okay? No one cares about me. No one of the Class 1A even showed up." Izuku says, "Well, yeah, Class 1A is filled with Izume, Bako, Todoroki. Why would anyone care, honestly? They view themselves as much better than everyone else in the world. But you." Walking towards her, he puts his hand through her hair. "You're beautiful, honestly. And there's some idiots if they can't see just how special you truly are. I don't even know you. I can sense it. I can sense that you're special. I can sense the beauty was in you." He looks towards her and says, "Anytime you want to talk to somebody, anytime you want to know, sit down, relax, see a movie, here's my number." Izuku gets up and immediately walks away. And Ochako's like, "Wait, what about our quirks? Our quirks have a strange, shocking reaction to one another." And Izuku says, "Fuck it. We can figure something out." And as Izuku walks away, Izuku feels weirder, like even weirder. He looks at his hands, which are now glowing like a light pink color. Usually they would glow a dark pink or a purplish pink or just straight up black when at its full power. But this is new. They never glowed this type of color before. And Izuku immediately rushed home, immediately ran home. And in case y'all don't know, the moment bro got home, bro had a whole new quirk. That quirk is called hardening. Bro had to handle some business. And this is I am saying in the PJ-13 way. Bro went home because his quirk had a brand new reaction to Ochako. Bro went home and beat his meat. He went home and beat his meat. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. But he went home and beat his meat. It's that simple. Now it's time skip. It's now the UA Sports Festival, and they called up, the best student, the person who scored the highest in the UA entrance exams, Izuku Midoriya of Class 1B. The crowd is completely confused. Izuku walked up towards the mic. "Is this thing on?" Now I know, 1B, y'all are confused. Why is a Class 1B person with the highest score? Aren't they weaker than Class 1A? Shouldn't he be in Class 1A? Shut up! Izuku immediately says, and they all go quiet immediately. "Listen, I did score the highest. Yes, I'm not in Class 1A because I didn't want to be in Class 1A. And Class 1A is offended. Meaning I'm why when you want to be in Class 1A? Replied Mina. "You saying something wrong with us? Because ain't nothing wrong with us." "Uh-huh. No, I just don't." "No, so you are saying something is wrong with us. Is it because I'm invisible?" Replied Hagakure. "Is it because I have a tail?" Replied whatever the fuck his name is. Is it because I can cook? Is it because I'm zesty? Splacko replied Aoyama. Izuku's like, kind of. He thinks to himself, kind of, you zesty as hell. But is it because all the girls in here are just aren't bad bitchy enough for you? Izuku's like, I ain't gonna lie, y'all fine as hell. But I didn't want to be in class 1A because specific reason. My 2 siblings and former best friend. The crowd goes quiet. Siblings? For those of you who don't know, I'm the firstborn son of the Pro Heroes. Well, Pro Heroes Queen Mob and, well, Hellton. Looking over the confusion, the current number 4 and number 5 Pro Heroes. I heard you guys moved up in ranks. Good for you guys. Well, they never revealed me to the public because I was quirkless. He said in quotations, for the first 2 years of my life. Well, for the first 12 years of my life. I was abused by them. Physically, mentally, spiritually abused, raped, tortured, neglected. I mean, I was just done completely dirty in every way you can possibly imagine. I mean, I was like 10, getting demolished by a grown man, and not in a way that you're probably thinking. He says in a dead ass voice, I've experienced things from these people that you wouldn't understand. Izuku walks forward and throws off of his shirt and stands in front of the camera to show all of his wounds. The crowd looks shocked. Oh, and that's just on my upper body. I can't show my lower body because, children, but there's a lot more. I can show my legs though, but there's some on other places such as my dick. And my dick, my balls, my asshole, everywhere. I've been tortured everywhere. Bro lifts up his legs, lifts up his hands and shows everything. The crowd is absolutely stunned. And for those of y'all who probably thinking I'm not their child, my name, number 1. Number 2, fucking look at me. Number 3, Inko Hasashi come up to the stage. Hasashi stands up and said, I knew it. Sprouting wings of fire, he blazes towards Izuku and immediately goes in for a punch. Just going to be blazed and punched dead across the face by All Might and instantly sent flying. I told you, if you lay another hand on Izuku, I'll destroy your reputation. Walking forward, All Might blazes forward, grabs Hasashi and choke slams him in the ring. Everyone goes quiet. Inko says, Hasashi! She instantly flies forward and immediately goes in for a punch at All Might. But All Might just literally, slightly side-eyed the hell out of her. He hits her with the meanest bombastic side-eye. Literally jumps literally right over her, grabs her by the neck and slams her onto the ground as well. He looks at her and says, bitch, you really should have thought about this. And Izuku does something that, Inko and them were not expecting. Around All Might's fist specifically, every punch that All Might throws, gravity is multiplied by 6,000 for him. And Izuku's able to make these effects permanent, meaning that when All Might punches you, you're hit by 6,000 All Mights combined. Which honestly, this one punch low-key could kill you. So Izuku kind of lowered it down to about 6 All Mights for them. Now, when All Might jumps, gravity is lowered a significant amount for him. He's able to move around faster than his prime level speeds thanks to Izuku. And even when All Might does lose one for all, it won't matter because Izuku, with this quirk, even in his small might form, due to the effects Izuku has finally able to permanently implant gravity effects on someone, All Might is gonna be able to still be a pro hero even without his quirk because of these effects. The only issue with it is he don't have super strength. It only works when he punches or jumps or runs. That's the main issue. He can't just use it without those specific ways it's meant to be used. But Izuku figured it out later, sooner or later. So All Might just start throwing Inko and Hasashi around the ring. Zuko finally snaps and unleashes a massive wave, like a wave of energy that immediately freezes All Might on impact. Instantly, the ice breaks, so Zuko instantly activates his aura. But that aura is instantly overpowered by All Might's willpower. And Zuko's like, yeah, Mom, Dad, I can't help y'all. Bro immediately looks up and says, yeah, y'all got that. Y'all got that shit. I don't got that, but y'all got that. And almost like, they're like, you bitch, help us. Help y'all. Bitch, help y'all. Man, what the fuck you mean by help y'all? Motherfucker, I can't help y'all. Can't help y'all with shit. And bro looks up with the most serious facial expression you can ever imagine a child having. And bro books it. Running at full fucking speed. We time skip. Deku could be seen. What y'all making me doing? Alright, bet. Deku could be seen waiting for the race to begin. Now, honestly, we're skipping past that. He gets like third place because on purpose. Now, the character battle, we're skipping that. Why? Y'all know I don't like the character battle. We're getting right into the 1v1s. And believe it or not, the first person he's squaring up with is Zuko. Why? Grudges. When Zuko walks into that ring, the crowd cheers for him instantly and boos for Zuko. Zuko says, my boy Zuko, my brother from the same mother. I would have lied to you and said that I'm sorry for this, but let's just be realistic. I'm not fucking sorry for this, and you know I'm not sorry for this. With the most dead-ass facial expression, Zuko clapped his hands together, jumping upward. Zuko immediately says, can we at least start the damn match? Instantly, Zuko slammed his hand on the ground and said, constant aura. Instantly, Zuko explodes out with a massive aura coming off of him. Suddenly, a massive blue flaming ice sword appears. Now, in case you're wondering, like, Zuko does produce a version of fire, but his fire is basically negative fire. It's cold fire, in case you're wondering. So, like, he isn't producing actual ice, but he's making ice waves out of this fire. Rushing forward, bro instantly is engulfed in said fire. He flies into the air and goes in for a punch at Izuku, just for Izuku to wave his hand down. Izuku to instantly fall on the ground. Being held down by the force of gravity, Izuku begins to walk forward. As he lifts up his hand, black tendrils shot out of his hand. These tendrils all will wrap up around one another, morphing into they form a massive, thick whip. Like a thick whip. Like, bro make a whip. It's unnecessary that he made it, but he wanted to make Zuko suffer. Slamming down the black whip, like an actual black whip, he begins to beat this nigga like he was a slave. And he specifies, like he was a slave. He specified, you worthless slave, while he was beating the crap out of Zuko with this. So as Zuko was on the ground, getting absolutely pulverized by this whip, Izuku instantly wraps Black Whip around him and does the same exact thing Shiozaki and Monoma both did to him. They said, oh, he took our idea, he did our idea. Izuku's like, shut up, it's my idea now. And bro, with no hesitation, bro grabs and wraps the whip all the way around him and straight up starts spinning as he yeets him directly into the sky. He's like, maybe I took things a bit too far. Nah, fuck it, he deserves it. And bro instantly shoots off Black Whip, yanks him back down to the ground. And bro does the most fucked up thing. That this right here is something he will only do to villains. Bro begins to make gravity pull Zuko from all directions slowly. Like, he isn't making it like where it's pulling him quickly. He's making it be a slow, painful, torturous process. How they tortured him, it feels like your body is getting pulled apart. Because it technically is. Like, each cardinal direction of gravity, including up and down, is pulling you at once. So let me explain something. His dick is getting pulled towards the ground. His head getting pulled towards the sky. His arm getting pulled towards the north and east, and his legs getting pulled towards southeast and southwest and shit like northeast and north south, whatever the fuck. Like, they're getting pulled very far away from one another. And I mean in a very slow process. And bro just stopped the process. Izuku says, "You born." He looks into the crowd and says, "Anybody, raise your hand in class 1A if you hate this guy." And no one raised their hand. Izuku's like, "Seriously? Y'all actually like him?" And a few people say he's actually kind of cool. It's only towards you. He's actually that kind of a guy towards. Izuku's like, "So you're not a bitch ass nigga, but you're a bitch ass nigga when it comes to me. Because I'm your little brother. That should be the other way around, but you know what? I keep forgetting that you are a bitch ass nigga. I really do keep forgetting that you're a bitch." Izuku says, in the most, like, just, not even in the most, like, he means everything that he just said. Like, dead assery. "Well, considering the fact that I keep forgetting that you are a bitch." He slammed his hands on the ground. Eyes shift from green to yellows. He said, "Maybe now I can have a bit more fun." And no, I'm just kidding. His eyes shift from like purple to black. A massive black aura comes off him with slight red lightning inside of it. Izuku walks forward with the entire ring. Like Zuko, who was literally like enters his full power as well. He feels the aura of Izuku. Like he emits his own crazy aura. But this, when Zuko's emitting his overpowering kiss so much so to the point where his aura is straight up deactivated. To the point where he can't even use his ice powers anymore. Zuko instantly falls to his knees, with Izuku saying, "This isn't fair, is it? Maybe I'll crank it down a notch." His aura shifts back to being pink this time. Completely pink. Like, this now is like one of his current weakest powers. As Zuko is able to straight up instantly spawn, like, using his aura, he creates a wave of earth that rockets forward. Just for Izuku to wave his hand, as that earth is instantly, literally turned around by his gravity, like by his what's it called, orbitation. Like I'm gonna call it orbitation because well he has an orbit, causing it to turn into orbit. It flies back at Zuko, and to be honest, damn, this was one long ass fight. I'm sorry, y'all. I did not realize how long of a fight this was, but it turns around and strikes Zuko again, knocking him out of the ring. It was quickly declared that Izuku Midoriya was the winner. The next round, Ochako Uraraka versus Izume. Yeah. Ochako walks into the ring. First thing she says, "I can't believe you did your own brother that way. I don't trust you anymore, Izume." "So you trust him over me?" She would say, "Your classmate. Don't you and Kazuki bully me for being poor? I never bullied you. I hear everything you guys say about me." "You can't prove that. I'll never do anything like that to you. You're only acting like this because there's a crowd." Izume looks at her with an annoyed look. "I'll never act like that towards you." She was saying, "You're saying it right now with a disdain and annoyed tone." Izume's eyes shift for a minute. "Alright. Fine. Don't hold back against me," Ochako would say. "Don't worry, bitch. I won't." Spawning a massive flame, she shoots it towards Ochako. Ochako sees the fire coming towards her. She screeches where she instantly places her hands in front of her face. The fire rockets towards her, but suddenly a wall begins to, causing the fire to float upward into the air with a pink barrier appearing around Ochako. Ochako looks up in confusion, with her eyes sparkling. This energy, this feeling. She would think back to the first time that her and Izuku made contact, the second time her and Izuku made contact, and the time that, she was in the hospital and they made contact again when she went home and touched herself. She looks on in confusion. This power. It has to be from him. Looking upward, the barrier instantly, every attack that touches this barrier floats upward into the air, and basically, it avoids Ochako. Ochako looks onward at this, where Izume looks confused. She figured out a new ability. Hey, that's looking kind of cold, she would say. But I don't care. I'm gonna waste my time on you. She runs forward instead of going in for long range combat, because that is her specialty. She's not immune to using close range combat. Going forward, she instantly kicks the barrier. Due to the fact that this is a physical attack and not like a blast based attack, it isn't gonna cause her to float instantly. But this still is a freakishly strong barrier. So when she kicked it, it hurt it. But that isn't gonna stop her. Kicking the barrier more and more, punching the barrier, kicking it, doing whatever the fuck. Kicking the barrier until eventually enough, the barrier actually begins to get pushed back. Pushed higher and higher and higher into the air. She goes in for a devastating blow at the barrier. This time her hand ends up almost breaking. She had an annoyed look up her face. She says, just fucking break, damn it! Punching and kicking the barrier relentlessly. Her eyes begin to flare up. Turning to a dark orange color, she began to punch it with flames appearing on her hand. The fire begins to float upward into the air with more and more hits she does. But surprisingly enough, the more and more she hits the barrier begins to grow and grow and grow. When suddenly, the barrier will morph into a hammer. Ochako looks confused. What the fuck? The barrier transforms into an energy construct of a hammer. And the hammer feels so light. She grabs the hammer and instantly bashes, hits Izume across the side. And Izume is sent flying like freaking crazy speeds. Now let me explain how the hammer works. For Ochako, it feels like nothing. Because, well, to her, it has zero gravity. But to anyone else that's hit by it, it's like getting hit by a fucking building. So Izume is damn nearly knocked out the ring immediately if she wasn't able to catch herself by creating fire wings. She looks on an annoyed look. Alright, enough. Slamming her hand, she created a weird orb. Said orb charges towards Ochako. When Ochako sees his attack coming, well, to be honest, it won't matter. Ochako takes 2 steps. Well, no, Ochako grabs her hammer and throws it. Just for this same little orb to hit the hammer. Now, the hammer is made entirely out of the barrier. Like, it literally looks almost identical to the barrier, like the hexagons and all. So when it ends up making contact with her blast, it actually is sending the blast up into the air and strengthening it. But to Ochako's surprise, the blast ends up getting stronger and stronger and stronger by increasing the gravity that's on the barrier, which in turn is the thing that's actually strengthening it, but she doesn't know that. But it comes to a point where the hammer grows to a massive size. And Izume becomes annoyed, but then she thinks, no barrier. Instantly, she creates a fire clone, which she did learn how to do a while back. The fire clone bleached and appeared behind Ochako, and it instantly hits Ochako so hard and so fast that what Bakugo did in the original timeline is nothing in comparison to this absolute disrespect here. With a literal burning hell queen punch is what it's called. A literal fist mark appears on the back of Ochako. She's launched dead out of the ring, and she's defeated. Izuku in the crowd sees this. And part of him is very angry, while another part of him just like, you did your best. Damn, you are fucking sexy. But while she's outside of the ring, Izuku will walk towards her and pick her up. To their surprise, there was a spark, but this time it didn't actually hurt or shock them. It felt good. Like, really, really good. And they can't describe why it felt so fucking good. It just did. They would take each other and sit them. Actually, he would take her and sit her down in Recovery Girl's office. When this happened, Recovery Girl comes inside and heals him. He says, guys, she says, immediately, you guys are a really cute couple. Ochako says, couple? We're not dating yet. We're not yet, Izuku would say, smirking. And she's like, did I say yeah? I mean, we're not dating. Oh, so you do want this? And she's like, huh? Boy, she's like, language, Izuku. You didn't even what? You just said exactly that. Like, you didn't think before you talked. She's like, think about what? You do want this dick, no, don't you? And Recovery goes like, young man, that's very disrespectful to say. How was that disrespectful? I was like, I'm a lady. And Recovery was like, are you sick? You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna let kids be kids. Flirt if I want to flirt. Fuck if I want to fuck. I don't give a fuck. She says, turning around, she's like, do y'all? Izuku's like, okay, realistic with me, alright? Do you want to date or you want to just be a boy, y'all? And she's like, honestly, I want to do both. And he's like, bet. He looks at Recovery Girl's door, locks the door. And, well, y'all know what happens from here. I'm not covering it. So now we time skip. The final match. Did I skip Bakugo's match and Todoroki's match? Yes. Why? Because he wasn't going to fight them. Izuku walks into the ring and his final match is against his sister Izume. But Izuku says, wait. Before you start the match, he looks at Midnight. Can I get a mic? Midnight gives him a mic. I need my mother, father, and brother to all step in the ring. It's finna be a 1v4. And the crowd's like, no way. Now it's like, Izuku, are you sure now? I will help you. Izuku's like, no. I need to let this out. Inko walks into the ring. Asashi walks into the ring. Zuko, Izume, and boom. Years among years, and you just really think that I'm not finna be salty, that I'm not finna get my get back. I don't know if you thought that, and if you did think that, you're retarded, but you probably think I'm not finna get my get back, and that's just really not the case. Putting everything down, Izuku cracks his neck and says, to be fair, y'all wanted a fight out of me. You wanted me at my best. You wanted me at my strongest, well, now you're gonna get it. Suddenly, Izuku's hair shifts from its normal light pink to a dark red. An explosive aura comes off of him. His aura turns to a pitch black one. His hair rises up and glows even brighter. His eyes become a pitch black, and an explosive force releases off of him. Zuko says, when he's like this, I can barely use my quirk. Hasashi says, you can barely use yours, but we still got ours. We'll protect you, Zuko, while you build up your frost. We want you to use your ultimate technique. Zuko's like, are you sure? That might kill him. So? Do I look like I care about his life or not? Replied Hasashi. Yeah, good point. Zuko says, alright, don't get mad when you guys end up losing a child. Zuko instantly runs forward alongside the rest of his family. Inko jumps up into the air. She uses her telekinesis and, well, fuck it. We're just turning her quirk back into telekinesis. Using her telekinesis, she summons pretty much like earth from around the outside of the arena and morphs it all into earth spikes that rain down at Izuku. While each of these earth spikes were all hit by a blast of fire from both Izume and Hasashi that ends up amping the speed that they're going at and amping the amount of force that they're going to hit Izuku with. But to their surprise, suddenly they all pause mid-air, turn around and fly right back at them. Instantly, they're able to dodge and evade all of them with relative ease, just for Izuku to appear right behind them. It's confused because Izuku appears to be right behind all three of them at once. In reality, Izuku just moving at a rapid speed in between the three of them. He's that fucking fast. Kicking all three of them technically at the same time, but technically at different times. He just moves so fast upon it appeared that he kicked all of them at once. Instantly, they're all sent flying. Well, then he rushes towards Zuko just for him to be caught by the leg by two hands of fire. And his hands of fire would instantly drag Izuku towards the source. His parent, his dad, and sister. Immediately, he's punched dead across the face by both of them, and his face is slammed into the ground. Suddenly, Inko lifts him up into the air. Well, there Izuku is still charging ice. They will say, are you ready yet? Izuku's like, no! Like I said, when he's in that form, I barely can use... He stops talking, and suddenly Izuku says, stop talking. Instantly, a black wave, almighty push. Suddenly, a massive wave, it explodes off of his body that instantly sends them flying. Black tendrils begin to shoot out of him as he floats upward into the air. I want to show you all something. Slamming both his hands together, suddenly a smoke screen appears around the entire ring. Everyone in the crowd freaks out. They suddenly hear screams of pain. When the smoke screen lowers, they see Hasashi held up by the throat by Black Whip with freaking holes through his arms. The crowd screeches as like Black Whips are actually going through his arms. And this is like in front of the whole world. People who are viewing this on TV, like it's instantly cut off. But people all pull out their phones and start to record what's happening. Those who at least have, you know what, these are like microdamage. Like these phone cameras could see through this shit. Why? Because I want them to. Anyways, as Izuku's holding Hasashi like this, this will be fair. Wrapping the whip around like throat, like his whip begins to burn. Now Izuku has no idea how this is happening. Neither does Hasashi, but it's just happening. And Bro, Oshako's in the crowd like, Izuku, stop, you'll kill him. Izuku's like, I know, but like, what the hell? That's kind of the point. He says, fuck it. He calmly throws Asashi aside. And bro, Izumi looks up with an annoyed look. And Izuku looks angry. And she's about to unleash his attack. And now, Inko says, Izuku, don't. You need to use it at your best. Zuko's like, oh, you're waiting on him. Walking towards Zuko in this new form, where literally, like, no matter how many times they hit Izuku, if you guys ever think he's losing, don't think that. I just really wanted to mention that. So as they go in, well, as Izuku goes in and grabs and slowly squeezes the throat of, well, actually tries to squeeze the, well, not try, he is actually holding the throat of Zuko. Zuko is still charging ice, not stopping. Izuku increases gravity and Zuko only pushes himself further. I'm used to increased gravity, he would say. Izuku multiplies it about 70 times. Izuku is now on one, like Izuku is now choking on one knee, can't breathe, barely could move, well not barely, can't move, and he is still putting everything he can into his attack. Izuku increases it again. Izuku's on the ground, bones shattered, and he's still charging this attack. Izuku leaves him like that, walking towards Izume. He says in a dark voice, finally, one-on-one, me and you, for what you did to her. Izuku says, taking inspiration from what I've seen. Lifting up his hand, suddenly, almighty hammer. Gravity around him would form into a hammer. How does this work? No idea. Yep, no clue. But I just want to do this. Slamming it down, well actually no. Using Black Whip, he creates a hammer out of whips. Now, using his gravity quirk, he makes the hammer feel like nothing, but anytime he hits something, it feels like they're hit by 1,000 pounds. So with no hesitation, spinning the hammer reacts, he bashes him and immediately sends her, oh shit, damn, what the fuck, instantly sends her fucking flying. He appears right behind him and does the same thing, but this time, he morphs it into a giant mallet, slamming that down upon, and immediately morphing it back into something even newer, a gauntlet, and begins to absolutely devastate and destroy her. As she tries to get up and do something, she's pushed back by a wave of gravity and instantly slammed onto the ground, where suddenly the arena begins to get slammed down. Inko instantly unleashed a wave of telekinesis just for Black Whip to rip straight through her stomach. Inko falling on the ground now. Inko's taking out, she's out of commission alongside Asashi. Izuku literally creates a Black Whip and burns her and throws her out of the arena. And they're immediately rushed off towards medics. Well, there's Zuko. Zuko walks towards pretty much him. And well, Izume. The two of them are on the ground together. They look up at each other and says, Zuko was smiling saying, I'm sorry. And Izume looks on in confusion. What? Why are you apologizing? Absolute zero. Killer Frost. Suddenly a massive wave of ice went off in all directions. Instantly the entire arena is froze, where suddenly it glowed a dark blue, as instantly a massive explosion of ice was released. And when it was revealed, Zuko was laid out on the ground, completely frozen, like his whole body froze. And well, Izume was also froze. But she's able to melt out of the ice slowly. Like, she doesn't melt immediately. As a matter of fact, it's revealed that Izuku's frozen. And that declared that it's a tie. But suddenly, Izuku ice begins to crack. And the ice explodes with Izuku hand sticking out of it. Did you really think that was gonna... And Zuko falls on the ground, instantly in confusion. What the fuck did he do? I froze your quirk, you bastard. Wait, how are you still talking? You won't be able to do much hero work from here. Falling on the ground, Zuko's laid out. And bro, Izuku just looks normal and laughs. You know, it would have worked if I had only one quirk. With Zuko eyes flaring up red, but I have more than one. As he coughs up blood, Izuku says out loud, Fajin. And instantly, with so much built up kinetic energy, bro ran and kicked both of them out of the ring. Being declared as the winner, Izuku, well, is requested, practically begged by everyone in UA to be moved into Class 1. And as y'all are probably expecting, the answer was no. It's just not happening. So with this, we time skip to the forest training gap. And honestly, it's nothing to cover. Muscular still shows up. Izuku actually one-shots him. Like, in the original canon, he does do all that fighting and all that. It doesn't happen here. Around this time, if we were to give Izuku one for all and a rating right now, he's at 99% of one for all. And with his gravity quirk, that boosts him up to around 200% one for all. Like it's nothing. And current manga Deku only has 120%. So he's already stronger than his manga self. Plus he has extra quirks. And he can control gravity at will. So he wins. Low difficulty. As a matter of fact, negative difficulty. So now we time skip on over towards the point where he ends up. Oh, there isn't a real point right now. Well, we time skip on over towards when Bakugo gets kidnapped. When he hears about Bakugo getting kidnapped, Izuku doesn't care. As a matter of fact, he doesn't want to help. But he hears about the fact that All Might's going to be involved and he's going to more than likely fight that man. Knowing the fact that it's now technically his destiny and his job to fight that man, he goes towards Ochako and tells her that he might not be coming back. And for good measures, he makes sure she's okay. Makes sure everything she has going on is okay. They have a good little time. And, well, he would leave. And I think y'all understand what I meant by good little time. Time skip. All for One and All Might end up having their battle. Now, around the halfway point when All Might ends up shrinking down to his small Might form, Izuku instantly activates the gravitational link upon All Might. And when this happens, All Might felt it reappear. He's confused. Why did he do that? But he feels way more powerful. Izuku says, All Might, do it now. Throw a punch. And All For One looks at him and says, pathetic All Might. Look at how pathetic that you truly are. He goes in for a punch just for All Might to throw a punch of his own. And the moment this happened, a massive wave of wind strikes All For One and instantly sends him flying. Now, in the original timeline, before this point, All For One was synced with Shigaraki. In this timeline, he doesn't. So, Izuku sees Shigaraki, and bro, no hesitation, uses his gravity quirk and straight up crushes everyone there. Every member of the League of Villains get crushed, they get flattened. He straight up kills them. But he uses gravity quirk and literally throws them underneath some rubble. Because who's gonna really stop him? Who's gonna actually stop him? No one, because no one's there to even stop him. So, as All For One and All Might are battling, even with All Might's newly found power, it isn't enough. Let's be realistic. It only works for punches. So, honestly, and All Might's physical body is still weak. So as All For One goes in to finish off All Might, he's suddenly punched and sent flying. Whether he's flying, whether he's up in the air, he's instantly slammed down by a massive force of gravity, held down by just a black spear around him. Whether Izuku lift up his head, and suddenly All For One arms fly, both his arms fly off in different directions. Where suddenly every single organ was in his body all flew off in different directions, where then they all were suddenly crushed mid-air. Just for this man's, honestly, I don't think he can come back from this. That's stupid. All For One has came back from being fucking nothing. No arms, no face, no nothing. But he didn't have, but his brain was destroyed. I don't know. But for plot convenience, he didn't heal from what he had at first, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna die. So with no hesitation, Izuku straight up lands his finishing blow, using One For All at 200% combined with every single quirk of One For All, including his gravity quirk. He destroys All For One's body. Since Shigaraki's already dead, it's actually end off this series. Honestly, I could cover the overhaul arc, but I'm not going to because, matter of fact, skim me through it. Izuku ends up going off and he tries to not die. He ends up being overhauled in an alleyway. This is where overhaul arc actually ends at, because in the original timeline, everyone ran back to Overhaul because she's scared. Izuku actually knows a lot more about Overhaul in his timeline because he's a lot smarter. So when Overhaul ends up going in to touch Izuku, to his surprise, Izuku actually snaps his fingers, and Overhaul is instantly crushed by gravity. Like, instantly. Izuku don't fuck with people who hurts kids. Like, he genuinely has a true hatred. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, guys. This was like an hour and 35 minutes. Y'all, this took a lot out of me, like a lot. So please, if you guys are true devoted members of the channel, like and subscribe. If you guys enjoyed this video and you're not devoted members, still like and subscribe. With that, I'm out.